You are already behind. Not because you're lazy, not because you lack talent, but because right now, in this exact moment, half of your mind is somewhere else, thinking about what someone said, replaying a moment from yesterday, wondering about tomorrow, scrolling through a life that isn't yours. And the world is counting on that. The world is built to keep you exactly where you are, distracted, reactive, half present, because a person who is fully locked in is dangerous, unstoppable, impossible to manipulate. This video is about becoming that person. Welcome back to Monk Mode. If this is your first time here, welcome. This channel exists for one reason, to help you build the kind of mind that doesn't flinch, the kind of discipline that doesn't need applause, the kind of focus that cuts through noise like a blade. Before we go deeper, if something in this video speaks to you, share it with someone who needs it. Leave a comment below with the word locked in so I know you're committed. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and hit the bell. New content drops every week and you don't want to miss it. Now, let's begin. The story. There was a monk deep in the mountains of Japan, in a monastery so old the wood of its floors had turned silver from centuries of footsteps. His name was Kenji, and Kenji had a problem. He was brilliant, everyone said so. He memorized sutras faster than anyone in the monastery's history. His calligraphy was perfect. His mind was sharp as mountain air. The head monk called him gifted. The other students called him chosen. But Kenji could not finish anything. He would begin a meditation practice and abandon it after 3 days. He would start copying a scripture and leave it half done. He would commit to waking before sunrise and then sleep through the gong. Every morning, he told himself today was different. Every evening, he sat with the same hollow feeling. Another day gone, another intention broken. One autumn, a traveling master came to the monastery. He was an old man, small and unremarkable, with eyes that looked like they had seen the bottom of the ocean. He stayed for 1 week. During that week, he taught nothing. He only observed. On the last morning before his departure, he called Kenji to walk with him. They walked in silence through the forest behind the monastery. The leaves were falling, gold and rust and the kind of red that makes the whole world look like it is on fire. Kenji waited for wisdom. He waited for a secret technique, a teaching, a transformation handed to him like a gift. Finally, the old master stopped walking. He bent down and picked up a single fallen leaf. He turned it over in his fingers. Then he looked at Kenji and said something that Kenji would spend the rest of his life understanding. You are a river trying to flow in every direction at once. Kenji frowned. I don't understand. The master held up the leaf. A river that splits into 100 streams becomes a marsh, shallow, still, going nowhere. But a river that cuts one channel, deep, committed, relentless, it carves through stone. It reaches the ocean. He placed the leaf in Kenji's palm and closed his fingers around it. You don't have a problem with discipline. You have a problem with commitment. You keep 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And a man with 1 foot in and 1 foot out, he is not half committed. He is not committed at all. Then the master walked away, and he never came back. Kenji stood in the forest for a long time. The leaves fell around him. Something was shifting inside him. Not a revolution, not a burst of excitement. Something quieter. Something like the moment before dawn when the darkness is still dark, but you know deep in your body that the light is coming. He went back to his room. He picked up the scripture he had abandoned weeks before. He sat down, and he did not stop until it was finished. That night, for the first time in years, he slept without the hollow feeling. The lesson. That story is not just about a monk. That story is about you, right now. Because most of us are living like Kenji before the forest, brilliant, capable, full of potential, and completely scattered. We have 12 open tabs in our mind and none of them loading fully. We start things, we drift, we restart, we drift again. We are always preparing to begin. And here's the truth that the world will never tell you, because the world profits from your distraction. Locking in is not about motivation. It is not about willpower. It is not about waiting until you feel ready. Locking in is a decision. It is the moment you stop negotiating with yourself. Think about it. Every morning, millions of people wake up and have the same internal conversation. Should I work out today? Maybe tomorrow. I'm tired. I'll start fresh on Monday. I just need to find the right system. I need to get organized first. I'll do it when things calm down. That conversation has no end. It loops forever. And while you're inside that loop, your life is moving forward without you. Locking in means you exit the loop. Not because you have infinite energy, not because you found the perfect plan, but because you made a decision, a real one, not a wish dressed up as a decision, that this is the direction, this is the channel, and the water flows forward now. What locking in actually looks like. It looks like a person sitting in a room when every distraction they own is calling to them. The phone, the television, the social feed, the voice in their head that says just 5 minutes. And that person does not move. Not because they feel powerful, not because they are not tempted, but because they have decided that the version of themselves they are becoming is worth more than the temporary comfort of checking out. It looks like the athlete who trains when no one is watching, not for the crowd, not for the post, for the process. It looks like the student who closes the laptop, puts the phone in another room, and reads the same paragraph 4 times until it becomes knowledge, real knowledge, not the performance of learning. It looks like the entrepreneur who stops refreshing analytics for dopamine hits and starts building the thing that will take 3 years to matter. Locking in is invisible. It is quiet. It produces no content. It trends nowhere, and it is the only thing that has ever actually worked. The real truth. Most people who think they are trying to lock in are not. They are performing discipline. They are taking photos of their 5 a.m. alarm, posting their study setup, buying the journals and the planners and the productivity apps. And none of that is wrong, but none of that is locking in. Locking in happens after the phone is face down, after the door is closed, after no one is watching, in the silence between intention and action. The Japanese have a concept called nichi nichi kore kojitsu. Every day is a good day. Not because every day is pleasant, but because every day, without exception, you show up, you do the work, you honor the commitment you made to yourself. Rain or shine, energy or exhaustion, inspired or hollow. That is locking in. Not some days, every day. You already do this for the things you have decided are non-negotiable. You brush your teeth every day. You eat every day. You do not wait for motivation to feed yourself. Those things are locked in. They require no negotiation. The difference between a disciplined life and a scattered one is simply the number of things you have locked in, the size of the non-negotiable list. Every master in every field in every era of human history had a version of this, a list of things they did not debate, a practice so deeply committed to that it happened like gravity, not by force of will, but by force of identity. Because that is the ultimate shift. Not I am trying to be disciplined, but I am someone who does this. The Murakami proof. There is a story, a true story, from the life of the novelist Haruki Murakami. When Murakami decided to become a serious writer, he made a choice that people around him thought was extreme. He closed the jazz bar he owned and loved. He moved to the countryside. He established a daily practice so rigid it looked almost monastic. Wake at 4 a.m., write for 5 to 6 hours, run 10 kilometers or swim 1,500 meters, read in the evening, sleep at 9 p.m. Every day, for decades. He was asked in an interview why such a rigid structure? Why not write when inspired? Why not follow the creative flow? And he said something I want you to hear very carefully. The repetition itself becomes the important thing. It's a form of mesmerism. I mesmerize myself to reach a deeper state of mind. He was not using discipline to fight against himself. He was using discipline to go deeper into himself. The routine was not a cage. It was a tunnel, cutting through the noise, the doubt, the distraction, straight to the source of his best work. That is what locking in does. It is not punishment. It is not grinding until you break. It is the deliberate construction of a life in which your best self shows up automatically. The structure does not limit you. The structure frees you. Your question. So here is what I want you to think about. What is the one thing, The single channel that you are meant to be cutting right now. Not 5 things, not your whole reinvention. One thing. The relationship you have been avoiding having an honest conversation about. The creative project that keeps surfacing in your mind at 2 a.m. The body you keep meaning to build. The skill that would change everything if you actually spent real time on it. The business that exists only inside your head because you have never fully committed. What is it? You already know. You always know. The problem was never information. The problem was never motivation. The problem was never the right time. The problem was that you were standing in the forest with your fingers open, watching all the leaves fall through. Close your hand. How Kenji's story ends. Because it doesn't end with him becoming the greatest monk in history. It doesn't end with some grand achievement or external recognition. It ends quietly. Years after the old master's visit, a young student came to Kenji, who was by then an elder himself. The young student was brilliant. Everyone said so. He had a familiar look about him, excited, eager, scattered. He said, "Teacher, I want to learn everything. I want to study all the paths. I want to become great." And Kenji looked at him for a long moment. Then he said, "That is precisely your problem." The student frowned. "I don't understand." Kenji smiled, the same smile perhaps that the old master had worn walking back through the falling leaves. You want to become great. Begin by becoming present. Pick up 1 stone and carry it, not 5 stones. Not a handful of sand. 1 stone. Carry it every day. Do not put it down. Do not look at other people's stones with envy. Just carry yours, faithfully, until the day you realize you have crossed the mountain. Not in one dramatic leap, but 1 step at a time, without ever letting go. This is monk mode. This is the work. Not the highlight reel, not the dramatic transformation montage. The quiet, daily, relentless act of locking in, of choosing your channel, of becoming through 1,000 invisible repetitions, the person you are always meant to be. You do not need a new plan. You do not need new information. You do not need to feel ready. You need to close your hand around the leaf and not let go. So here's your challenge this week, and I want you to take this seriously. Choose 1 thing, just 1. The thing you keep starting and stopping, the thing that keeps calling your name. And for the next 7 days, do not negotiate with yourself about it. Do not debate. Do not check whether you feel like it. Simply do it every day as if it is as non-negotiable as breathing. Then come back here and tell me what changed. Drop it in the comments. Drop locked in if you are committing right now. Drop the 1 thing you are choosing to lock in on. I read every single comment. I want to hear from you. And if this video gave you something real, share it. Not for me, for the person in your life who is still standing in the forest with their hand open, watching their potential fall like leaves. They need to see this. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing this kind of life over the easy one. Thank you for being the kind of person who still believes that who you become is not an accident. It is a decision, made daily, in silence, with no audience but yourself. This is monk mode. Now, lock in.